January 8, 1873, the Carroll Herald, Carroll City, Iowa. Pneumatic Tubes. Mr. Albert Brisbane, the inventor of the pneumatic tube, has gone to work at the construction of one of the tubes from the Capitol to the government printing house, for which Congress appropriated $15,000 at the last session. The process of operating these tubes is exceedingly simple. Instead of a car with 4 wheels, a sphere is used. The sphere is moved by exhausting the air at one end of the tube so as to create a current through it, and this air current pressing against the sphere, which is 2 or 3 inches smaller than the tube, propels it with great velocity. Rapidity and power are gained by the saving of friction. Mr. Brisbane claims that books, documents, and manuscripts will go whirling along through these tubes at the rate of 300 miles an hour. It is also his firm belief that the day is not far distant when the pneumatic tubes will be applied to the transmission of freight from one side of the continent to the other. It is not safe to gainsay the prediction, after the experience of the English scientist who wrote a book demonstrating that no vessel propelled by steam could ever cross the Atlantic, a book that was brought over to this country by the first steamer that practically disproved the scientific demonstration. Mr. Brisbane proposes to do the freighting of the country at 1/10 the present cost, and at the rate of 100 miles an hour, to bring the grains and meats and iron and coal to the seaboard so low as to make them cheaper than they are in England, and to accomplish as great revolution over steam as steam did over the ox cart. It is certain that many capitals are waiting for the demonstration of Mr. Brisbane's new application of power with great interest. It is only the old fogey railroads that are delaying him now in their slow process of furnishing him the materials he needs. February 21, 1895, Ludington Daily News, Ludington, Michigan. Vertical writing. After an exhaustive consideration of the question, the Board of Education of Boston decides in favor of vertical handwriting and ordered its introduction in a limited number of schools. A report on the subject says, "It is a generally admitted fact that whenever excellence in slant writing has been obtained, it has been at a sacrifice of comfort on the part of the pupils and of time and strength on the part of the teachers." The weight of evidence seems to show that good vertical writing can be obtained at much less cost. In the primary schools, the children seem to be inclined to write a round, upright hand and are with difficulty forced into the angular, slanting style. To develop and perfect this natural hand has been found in practice to be easier than to change it. So much easier that competent judges have expressed the opinion that with vertical writing there need be no special instructor in penmanship after the 5th or 6th year in school. November 28, 1898. The Day. New London, Connecticut. New Naval Light. It is extremely bright and cannot be quenched by either water or earth. A new and highly important invention was tested at the German naval maneuvers at Berlin. It was in the shape of a Greek Phoenician fire invented by a Berlin engineer. It ignites on contact with the air or water and cannot be quenched by either water or earth. It burns with a brilliant flame, exceeding big searchlights, and it can be sunk underwater or underground, and when brought to the surface, instantly bursts into flame at any desired point. It was tested during the night evolutions off the island of Heligoland and off Kiel, and proved most efficient in detecting the presence of the enemy. Emperor William visited Stettin to open the new harbor. During the course of a speech which he delivered in reply to the address of welcome of the Burgomaster, His Majesty said, "Our future lies on the water, and I, as Lord and King of the land, express gratitude to you for having brought Stettin to this degree of prosperity. I hope, expect, and might also say I demand further development at the same rate of progress." Work has been commenced on the new mammoth dock at the Imperial Shipyards of Kiel. It will be 550 feet long and 65 feet deep. It is intended to dock large ironclads of the Kaiser Friedrich type. June 5, 1904. Clinton Morning Age, Clinton, Iowa. Identify by new method. Fingerprint system of personal identification rapidly coming to the front. The fingerprint method of personal identification seems to be coming to the front, says Success. It has long been used as an adjunct to the Bertillon system of measurement, and now we are told that in England it is superseding that system, being regarded as both simpler and surer. The trouble with any measurement system is that the measurements of the same man, taken by different persons or at different ages, will differ slightly, and so the identification may fail. Fingerprints, on the other hand, tell their own story and are subject to no personal equation, while their systems of ridges and whorls remain the same from infancy to manhood. In a recent European case reported in a French paper, a murderer was detected through the agency of a thumbprint on the rail of a broken sash, so slight a mark that it was scarcely visible, but photography enabled it to be studied sufficiently for identification. June 30th, 1904. The Clinton Morning Age, Clinton, Iowa. Wigwag stock quotations. Fluctuations in cereal prices made known by system of signals in Japan. Wireless telegraphy is nothing new to the Japanese, said City Clerk Connolly of Newark, New Jersey, to a New York Sun reporter. They have used it or something that answers the same purpose for years. Mr. Connolly was consul to Osaka and Hyogo for 3 years, and he speaks with admiration of their cleverness. I read the other day, he remarked, that Japan was up to, if not ahead of, the world in developing the new system of wireless telegraphy, and I can well understand it, for I don't know how long they have had a system of sending stock fluctuations up and down the entire empire. They keep posted from one end of Japan to the other on the slightest movement in the cereal market during business hours, and they send the messages from the mountain and hilltops. They use flags mostly, but part of the way I think they have men to make gestures from one point to another. No one knows just how they do it, or at least a very few, and every time they think outsiders have mastered their code, they change the whole system. They keep the country posted on every fluctuation in the grain market down to the fraction of a cent. The inference is that the Russians could not possibly make a demonstration of any sort on the Japanese coast without all the particulars becoming known, almost on the instant in Tokyo, no matter how isolated the spot might be upon which the Russians made their attack.